Let me hit you with something that doesn't quite add up. Switzerland is one of the richest countries on the planet. We're talking some of the highest incomes anywhere, some of the highest household wealth in the world, and yet you could spend a week walking around a Swiss town and basically never notice it. Nobody's flexing. There isn't a supercar parked outside every cafe. It's just this calm, understated, almost invisible kind of wealth that's been built slowly and kept quietly. And then you look at a lot of the West, where people pull in a solid income and still feel broke, still living paycheck to paycheck, still stressed about money after doing everything they were supposedly meant to do. So what gives? What do the Swiss actually know that the rest of us keep missing? Honestly, it comes down to something kind of unglamorous. Real wealth gets built through discipline and restraint, and it gets kept by not needing to prove it to anybody. That's it. And the good news is, none of this is some secret, and none of it requires being born next to a mountain. These are just habits. You can start borrowing them today. My name is Nick, and I spend way too much time thinking about money, and about the strange fact that some of the richest people on Earth are also the quietest about it. So let's go through 8 Swiss habits that quietly build wealth. No luck, no stress. And hang around for the last one, because it's really the thing that holds all the others together. Oh, and if this is useful to you, a like genuinely helps it reach more people. Alright, let's get into it. First one, and it's the one that throws people the most. The Swiss stay frugal even when they're making really good money. And I want you to sit with how unusual that is. They'll earn a strong salary and then just keep living a modest, careful life anyway. Being frugal isn't a sign you're struggling over there. It's sensible. It's almost a quiet little point of pride. So the money comes in, and instead of the life inflating to match it, the difference just gets quietly tucked away into savings and security. Now compare that to how it usually goes for the rest of us. Raise hits, and within a month it's a nicer car, a bigger place, a fuller everything. Income goes up, and somehow the wealth never does. So here's the thing to actually try this week. Look at your last raise, or the next one coming, and just ask yourself honestly, did my life get more expensive by pretty much exactly the amount my paycheck grew? If it did, congratulations, you found the leak. The Swiss move is to let the income climb while the lifestyle stays put, and bank the gap. I know a guy who started treating every raise like it didn't happen, kept living on the old number, saved the increase. 3 years in, he'd built a bigger cushion than he had in the entire decade before that. Same job, same income. He just changed one habit. Okay, second habit. They buy good things once instead of cheap things over and over. And look, Switzerland is famous for craftsmanship, but this goes way deeper than fancy watches. There's this cultural instinct to buy something well-made, take care of it, and keep it for years, sometimes for life. It's the exact opposite of the buy it, break it, toss it, buy it again cycle most of us are stuck in. A solid pair of shoes you resole and look after will outlive 10 cheap pairs. A good tool, maintained, lasts a generation. Costs more the day you buy it. Costs way less over your whole life. There's that old line about how buying cheap is actually the most expensive thing you can do because you just keep buying it. So next time you're about to grab something that's supposed to last, pause for a second and ask, is this still going to be good in 10 years? Or am I going to be replacing it next winter? Buy the one you won't have to buy twice. A woman I know actually added up what she'd spent rebuying the same cheap boots every single winter. It came out to way more than one genuinely great pair would have cost. Several times more. She switched to buying quality and looking after it, and her clothing spending just quietly dropped by about a third. Third one, they refuse to turn cars into a status symbol. And this is wild when you think about it, because this is a country that could absolutely be drowning in supercars if it wanted to. Instead, they've got one of the best public transport systems on Earth, and using it is completely normal no matter how much money you make. Driving a modest, reliable car, or not even owning one, carries zero shame. The car just isn't the scoreboard over there that it's become in a lot of other places. And think about everything that quietly removes from your budget. No financing some depreciating luxury thing to impress the neighbors. No stretching for the car that's supposed to announce you've made it. Just cheap, efficient movement, and the money stays free for stuff that actually builds wealth. So here's your gut check. Add up the real cost of your car. The payment, the insurance, the gas, the maintenance, all of it. Then look at it as a chunk of your income. If that number makes you a little queasy, good. That's the lesson landing. A car's a tool that gets you places. It was never supposed to be a trophy. Guy I know traded a car he was low-key straining to afford for a modest one he owned outright. Took that monthly difference, funneled it into investing, and that one move ended up being the single biggest thing driving his savings. Number 4 genuinely catches people off guard. In Switzerland, renting is just normal, totally normal. They've got one of the lowest home ownership rates in the developed world, and a huge share of people rent their whole lives with nobody batting an eye. Renting isn't seen as failing at some ladder everyone's supposed to be climbing. It's just a reasonable choice, and it saves people from strapping themselves into the biggest debt of their lives purely to prove they've arrived somewhere. And I want to be clear, the point isn't that renting always beats buying, because that genuinely depends on where you live, and it's not that simple. The point is, the Swiss don't let social pressure shove them into a house they can't really carry, mortgaged to the eyeballs, house poor and stressed out of their minds. So the takeaway is just this. Whether you rent or you buy, make it a cold, boring financial decision, not an emotional one, and definitely not a social one. Don't buy more house than you can comfortably handle just because somebody made you feel like renting means you failed. I know a couple who felt that exact pressure to buy right at the top of what the bank would hand them. They didn't. They kept renting a modest place and invested the difference between that and the mortgage they were supposed to take. Years later, that invested money had quietly grown past the equity they'd have built in the house. Quit breather, because the next 4 are where this really starts to stack up. If you're getting something out of this, do me a favor and drop a comment telling me which of these you could actually see yourself doing, and a like helps this find the next person. All right, back into it. 5th habit. They save and plan like it's second nature. Because for them, kind of is. The Swiss have this deep, almost baked-in relationship with saving, planning, insuring against whatever's coming. Building a buffer isn't the thing you get around to eventually. It's the starting point. There's this whole instinct toward being prepared, not getting caught out, always having something in reserve. And honestly, saving by default instead of saving whatever happens to be lying around at the end of the month, that's quietly one of the most powerful money habits there is. Most people save what's left after they spend, which, let's be real, is usually nothing. Flip it. You save first, automatically, and then you spend what's left. So here's the move, and it's almost too simple. Automate it. Set up a transfer that yanks a set amount into savings or investments the day after you get paid, before you can even feel it leave. Make saving the first thing that happens, not the last. Women I know went from trying to save whatever was left at month's end, which was always nothing, to just auto-moving a fixed amount the second her pay hit. Barely noticed it day to day. Couple years later, she had the first real emergency fund of her whole adult life. Number 6 might be the most Swiss thing on this entire list. They're discreet. They just don't flaunt it. Wealth over there is famously private. Discretion is a genuinely deep value, and openly showing off your money is quietly looked down on. You're just not supposed to broadcast what you've got. And here's why that's not only about manners, it hits the wallet directly. When your whole culture doesn't reward flexing, this enormous category of spending, the buying stuff just to be seen with it category, basically shrivels up. You're not dropping money to signal status because status there just isn't won by signaling. Think honestly about how much of a normal person's spending only exists to be witnessed by other people. The Swiss instinct quietly deletes most of that. So here's a question you can steal, and it's a good one. Before you buy something, ask yourself, would I still want this if literally nobody would ever see me with it? And if the honest answer is no, congrats, you just caught spending. That was never really for you. It was for an audience. Guy I know started asking himself exactly that before any big purchase, and he swears it killed more of his spending than any budget he'd ever tried, because so much of it turned out to be for other people. 7th, they spend money they've actually got. Running underneath everything else is this cautious, grounded relationship with debt. Culturally, there's a real lean toward living within your means and being pretty wary of borrowing to fund a lifestyle. The instinct is to buy things when you can genuinely pay for them, not to finance some version of a life you haven't earned yet. And that one discipline, not funding today's wants with tomorrow's paycheck, quietly protects them from the trap that swallows so many people who actually earn plenty, where a great income just disappears into payments on stuff you already used up. So try this. Take one thing you'd normally just reach for the credit card to buy, something you want but can't fully cover right now. And instead of financing it, save up and buy it when you can. Then actually notice the difference between owning it clean versus owing on it for a year. Guy I know made himself one rule: nothing financed if it loses value, and within a year, the money that used to evaporate into random payments had turned into the start of an actual investment account. And number 8, the one that ties the whole thing together. They think in decades, not seasons. Underneath every single habit I just walked you through, there's one deeper trait doing the heavy lifting, and it's this long, patient, almost generational sense of time. The Swiss are famous for planning way out ahead, building slowly, valuing stability and staying power over fast wins and flash. And here's the thing, all of it, the frugality, the buy it for life stuff, the modest cars, the disciplined saving, the discretion, none of it really makes sense unless you're playing a game measured in decades, while a lot of the world is playing in weeks. They're not trying to look rich by Friday. They're trying to be secure for the next 30 years, and honestly, for the generation coming after them. That patience is the multiplier. It's the thing that turns every other habit on this list from a nice idea into real durable wealth. So here's the mindset shift to walk away with. Before any money decision, ask which version of you you're actually serving. The one who wants something this week, or the one who wants to be free in 20 years? The Swiss, quietly and relentlessly, serve the second guy. And slow, repeated for decades, beats fast every single time. It's not even close. So here's where all 8 of these land, and it's really the whole point. You don't need to be Swiss. You don't need some Alpine paycheck. Every one of these is just a discipline, and disciplines travel fine on their own. Stay frugal as you earn more. Buy quality once. Don't make your car a trophy. Treat housing like a cold financial call, not an emotional one. Save first, on autopilot. Quit spending to be seen. Only buy what you can actually afford. And more than anything, think in decades. Pull off even a few of those consistently, and you'll quietly build more security than most people manage in a whole lifetime of earning more and keeping less. The Swiss didn't get quietly rich off some secret formula. They earn steadily, spend carefully, show off basically never. And wait, that's the whole thing. And it's available to literally anyone. No mountains required. Quick reminder that I'm not a financial advisor, and this isn't financial advice. Just a look at what we can pick up from a country that quietly does money differently. If this one hit for you, a like and a share genuinely help, and I'd love to hear in the comments which of these 8 you're grabbing first. I'll see you in the next one.